1, 2, 3, and welcome to the Old Hombre podcast with your host, Mense Morera and
Andrew Kanikuru, Pisces, bordering on Aquarius.
Oh wow!
On some days.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Every day, every single episode, we're getting extra details on you. This is episode 7, by the way.
No way.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. That merits a bit of a cheer.
Well, yeah. What merits a cheer as well is I was checking last night. There's some people watching, Menzi.
There are some people watching. It's crazy. I mean, about 50% of those clicks are me on different devices. Okay. But but it's about 3 shadows right now. No, I'm joking. You're not shadows. It's about 3 people that are kind of lingering. No, but funny enough, not the last episode, the episode before that, episode 5, actually got 20 people watching it. I didn't tell them to watch it or anything like that, and I don't even think it was subscribers. So yeah, we're doing well. So thank you so much for watching, people. Please come back.
Fantastic. I haven't signed the contract on the yacht just yet.
Yeah, no.
I thought I'd wait for a few more.
Yeah, exactly. We'll wait a little bit more. But yeah, this is a podcast about business strategy, just business in general, working life, and the beyond, which is basically retirement and anything that may be relevant once we are no longer employed. But yeah, this is episode 7, so let's get cracking on. So, Andrew, we're hitting a bit of what do you call it? We're hitting a bit of a routine now, where we're going through different kind of stages of the podcast. So let's kick this off in the usual fashion with our Insta Wolly section.
Insta Wollies, yes.
What do you think I am, mate? Some sort of Wolly.
You see, that was Del Boy Andrew. So that's now our. Do you know what? I'm gonna hit that up again.
You know what? I'm gonna get a background next week. It's gonna.
Every episode will be adding new things. Trust me. This time next year, we'll be in a studio.
We'll be millionaires.
We'll be in a studio. But I want to play that again because I love a bit of Del Boy.
What do you think I am, mate? Some sort of Wolly.
Exactly. Yeah. So for those of you that haven't watched Only Fools and Horses, Only Fools and Horses.
What?
I know it's crazy, but it may actually happen. Only Fools and Horses is one of the best sitcoms of all time in the UK.
All time.
Right? It's all about 2 hustlers, and their mission in life is to become millionaires. But anyway, they all come across different funny scenarios, and Wollies is a terminology they use to describe people that are basically idiots. But yeah, all right. So our Insta Wolly.
That was for American listeners.
Yeah, that was for all of our millions of American listeners. Yeah,
audience.
exactly. Right. But anyway, let's go into our Insta Wollies segment. We'll start off nice and lighthearted. I saw this training video, Andrew, and I wanted to. This is McDonald's in the 90s.
I just want to pause because, as I mentioned, as you know, I've just started a new job and finally managed to get access to some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some of the onboarding training.
Right.
And I wish I could share some of it.
I know. Do you know what? There's some. We can't. Yeah.
A guy introduced me with his pronouns, so that made me comfortable to introduce myself with my pronouns.
Yeah, but I actually think this is as bad, right? Because some people actually need training with pronouns.
Yeah.
But this one right here, I don't know. I found it funny, but we'll share it. McDonald's training video, I think sometime in the 90s. Yeah. Everything about this to me was funny, but maybe it was just that time in the day, right? So I'm going to click it. Let's go. So this is Jose. Apparently it's Jose. All right, so check this out, yeah?
Come back soon.
Thanks.
Hi, Jose. Hi. I know you're fairly new to the fry station. You're doing a great job of keeping at least 3 orders ready at all times. Thanks. But I also noticed you're over-salting the fries. Now, you'd be more effective if you salted the fries this way. Turn the salt shaker over 1 time only. Now, that provides our fries with the right taste McDonald's is looking for. Got it. You can go ahead and waste these fries, and on the next batch, we'll do the salting together until you get a feel for it.
I mean, fair enough, right? We could all make that mistake. We could all overdo it, yeah? So I was just like, okay, yeah.
And I like the way that he wants to do it together.
Yeah.
Because it is highly technical, let's face it.
It is a highly technical process, right? I mean, this is obviously a problem that McDonald's had. I mean, you know, with all due respect here, that salt shaker is legendary, right? If you think about it, you just turn it once and you get the right. I mean, it's a thing of innovation. This salt shaker, yeah. But it was this bit here that got me chuckling. Well, first of all, what really got me chuckling was, does that look like a Jose?
I was going to say that,
Does
but I thought I'm not going to go there.
Yeah. I mean,
it looks like a bread.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. So obviously, this was a time when Latinos in the US were scarce, right? This was probably the height of the 80s and the 90s when, you know, all the drug trade was happening, and Latinos couldn't even land a McDonald's job, so they had to get a fill-in, right? Or especially one that could be actually filmed and shared on internal training resources.
The funny thing is they'll probably do a Spanish version of this, and they'd have to dub it.
Right, but they won't have to dub the Jose bit. Well, you never know. They might actually change the name from Jose to Brad.
To Brad,
in the Spanish version, just to give it that little punch, right? All right, okay. But this is the bit that kind of got me chuckling a little bit. But yeah, that you can imagine me with my little racist narrative in my back. That does not look like a Jose. But let's continue with this one, right?
Sure, great.
So they've done the dream thing, you know, the Saved by the Bell dream thing, which I thought was brilliant, right?
Later that was the thing in those days, you know, you had the dream thing.
Exactly. But later that day, we must stress that this was later in that day. All right, let's get onto this. I mean, that's Techers.
Technique is there.
Exactly, right? But this is the bit that really got me, right?
Jose, I like the way you're using the salting technique we talked about earlier. Excellent work. Thanks for focusing on this.
Thanks, Billy.
I mean, if that's not manager and workforce bonding, I don't know what anything is. And did you see the way he strategically stood by the station?
Stood by, of course.
Acting like he was, I mean, this was definitely the height of micromanagement.
Well, and also at the beginning, I love am I allowed to say shit sandwich? Well, I've said it now. It was the shit sandwich, you know. You're doing a great job, and then you can do another great job, you know. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, but it was the it's the comments that we mustn't ignore, right? Yeah. Jose was later fired for sexual assault. Brilliant.
That is brilliant.
This looks like the beginning of gay porn. Yeah,
it does.
It does actually. Inaccurate. Managers are never this supportive or encouraging.
Well, I did say how supportive he was.
Yeah, Billy's wife cheats on him. Andrew, I could. Oh wait. Now he works for the cartel. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's wait. The fact that they had to make the whitest dude Jose is literally what makes this a true 80s classic. There you go. There you go. Everyone's thinking it. But yeah, I thought, yeah.
I mean, you can imagine like the McDonald's corporate marketing team or HR team going down to their local, what was it, talent agency.
Yeah.
We need a Hispanic to pour some salt.
Yeah.
And we don't have any Hispanics or none that are capable of pouring salt anyway. Let's just get Brad in and just call him Jose. That'll do.
Done. Oh, hey, Brad, don't you have a Latino removed auntie on your? Do you know what I'm trying to say? On your dad's side? Yeah, you know. Well, we do have. Well, not really. We do have Consuela that cleans our house. All right. Well, yeah, that makes you Latino enough, mate. We'll have you.
Yeah, that's it. Pass.
Yeah, I thought it was very odd, but yeah, love it.
Brilliant. That's one of my favourites. That is.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. Right. So now we're gonna go straight into the deep end. So Andrew, I've actually discovered something brilliant. Right, that's gonna make our life much easier, and that's actually with the theme of the episode. Right, LinkedIn has officially become an influencer platform. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? They are now doing video reels, right? So you usually think of LinkedIn, you go on there, and you know, you're looking at articles by companies and people talking about, I don't know, how to foster work collaboration and boasting about their careers. Well, now they've added a new feature where you can actually tell stories and share things. They're trying to get this influencer thing going on. And the brilliant thing about that for us, Andrew, is presents an opportunity, because now I don't have to scour all the naked ladies on my Instagram. I can just go on LinkedIn and get some gold from there regarding the workplace.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
I'm still trying to figure out how to share it, but I've managed to do a couple of screen recordings because the desktop version doesn't have the feature for you to scroll through it.
Right.
So,
it's on thingy only.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I'm now gonna go into my little archive, and I'll start sharing screen now.
Right. So just before, this is actually topical because we're going to do a couple of things about LinkedIn, and I don't mean to wish anybody, that they're stupid enough not to know about LinkedIn. But it's like you say, it's a business to business platform where you go and you engage with people, with similar business interests, similar ambitions, and you want to learn about companies that you're going to potentially work with, approach, whatever. And it's a business thing. That's what it started as. It started as professionals sharing insights, sharing information, collaborating, learning, etc. So with that, and then how serious it is, let's play.
Okay, cool. So it's not officially an Insta Wolly, but it's still kind of fits in with the theme because it's video sharing and all that stuff, cool. Right? Okay, so the lady I'm about to share is going to give us some real good insights on how to look busy.
Oh, okay, amazing.
Your own time.
Amazing. Okay? In case you have Jose's boss hanging around.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, you've created time and space for yourself so you can actually work on important things. You have to say, enough is enough. My time is so valuable. I need to use it better. Your boss will respect you more in the long term, I promise. Stop accepting every meeting invite that comes your way. Start declining meetings. Your boss will actually respect you for it. Every time someone puts that quick catch up or check in your calendar and you...
Right. So last week and probably over the last 5 weeks, we've been talking about companies going back to the office.
Yes.
And what's been the big reason behind that, Andrew?
Yeah, well, because they really think people are skiving at home.
Right, people are skiving at home.
Yeah.
So I know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
In the height of companies thinking about taking people back to the office to foster collaboration, all this type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you're losing this pleasant environment that you're working in, where you do have a bit of freedom. Let's face it, at home. So in the light of potentially losing all of this.
Yeah, the best way to hedge against that risk is by declining meetings, because our time is precious, and your manager, who is already considering taking you out of your house and bringing your ass back to the office, will respect you more.
Oh, absolutely.
If you decline collaborative work meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember one manager we both had, and his motto was that if there's an empty spot in your calendar, you're joining the meeting.
It's interesting, right? But so let's carry on watching this. I mean, I think this is a one-way road, not just to go back to the office, just getting fired in general, to be honest.
You accept it. They are not taking your time. You are giving them your time. And you might start upsetting some people when you...
God forbid we give our time.
No.
God forbid we give anyone our time.
Reject their meetings. But you will win that long-term respect when you become the only person at work who actually has time in their calendar to work on the important things and isn't just spending their day in back-to-back pointless meetings.
Oh, yeah. So, KB, I'm going to call him KB. He will definitely have more respect for us.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what? I think this is the birth of a new segment. The segment should be guess the job position.
Oh, do you know
that would be decent, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing, actually. You know what? As you're sitting there, as I'm watching that, and I'm looking at her background and what she's wearing, and where she's sitting, and the orange sofa and all that, and I'm thinking, I wonder what she does.
Do you think this is sales? I don't think this is sales.
No, I don't know. I think no. I think this is more.
I think this is customer success.
HR. No, not even HR.
HR would be okay. I think this is either customer success, engineering.
Yeah. Legal?
Definitely legal. Oh,
legal.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Andrew, thank you. This is a classic legal department attitude.
Yeah,
mate. Get in a meeting with legal.
Oh my, I honestly, I think I could meet with God easier.
Yeah. And God forbid that we ask them a legal question.
Yeah.
I mean, they act like we're all meant to be qualified lawyers. Oh,
yeah.
So you didn't get the NDA clause of that. I mean,
don't you know that we have to have UK law?
No, I don't. Because guess what? I'm here to sell.
Yeah, and we're an international company. You know, we're an international company. Yeah, we're here to sell across EMEA, and we have to force everybody, and we should know that it's UK law only.
Can't you just get them to accept our clauses? Oh no, Sally. Do you know what? I was so bored that I said, you know what? The customer's dying to sign this contract as is. But you know what? I'm bored. I want to speak to you, and I want to put a Zoom in your thing so that you can Zoom in your calendar so that you can ignore it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
got this spot on. This is a legal person. I'm pretty sure this is a legal person.
Yeah, and the fact that we're a little segment of a scale-up startup, whatever you may be, based in the UK, and we're trying to sell one of the largest insurance, banking, whatever companies.
50,000 employees.
In Europe.
We'll wield our influential sword with our 300 employees to get them to change their governance for their 50,000 employees.
Exactly. How dare you? How dare you disturb me with this?
God. But yeah, no. That could be a decent segment. Guess the position. Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm left. The annoying thing about this, Andrew, is because I'm sharing from WhatsApp, I need to go back to the other screen setup and then chat the video. Otherwise,
people understand.
Yeah.
The two people that are watching them.
I hope so. Right. So back.
Office norms used to be,
my bad.
but we definitely don't.
74% of managers.
I've got to really set an introduction on this one.
Right.
This, in my opinion, may be the award winner of Insta Wolly of the week.
Oh, okay.
And there's so many layers to this.
Right.
Some of which I'm actually apprehensive to say, to actually say. But I think I may just go all guns blazing on this one. But I want to get your take on this one. So this is a lady, apparently Gen Z or Gen Z, however you want to say it, right?
Yeah.
And she's going to tell us why. Well, she's going to give us a hypothesis on why Gen Z people are not that office friendly and seem to make bizarre. Go on.
Well, I saw the head shake just there as she was talking. That's annoyed me straight away.
Well, let's go to it. Let's go to this, right? All right, play.
Office norms used to be, but we definitely don't.
74% of managers said Gen Z was the hardest generation to work with. Gen Z doesn't understand the office.
Okay. I'm just going to run you through the psychological process. Number one, what the hell is in your hair?
Just look at that smile.
Number two, your face.
Yeah,
your face.
That is an entitled face. That is a face.
I've seen that face too many times in my life.
Yeah. That is the most entitled. I'm so entitled. Yeah.
So what if you're paying me a 6-figure salary? You're going to have to put up with this.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, oh, God.
It is true. Yeah, Gen Z doesn't understand the office at all. But you can't blame us.
Yeah.
No. Why would you?
Of course.
Because nothing's our fault.
Absolutely nothing. No. And do you know what? It's funny because you haven't seen this, Andrew, right?
No, I haven't seen this
already. Okay. Well, here you go. You've just hit the nail on the head. Here we go.
You shouldn't. Please don't. Because we never had in-person internships.
Yeah.
Never got to...
I knew it. I knew that was going to get you because he got me. Wait, hold on.
Learn that in the traditional way.
Saying it's like bringing like feral children into the office and like,
Literally.
now act professional.
Right.
It's like,
You were literally raised by wolves.
Yeah.
Professional.
Wow.
So, according to this great, this is very insightful. Well, they obviously thought this was insightful enough to podcast about it.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, whatever. So the reason why we have to understand. Wait, you know what? I need to give it justice. I need to just, Oh,
there you go.
No. Let's leave her on a snooty face. Where's the snooty face? Oh,
there you go.
There we go. All right, we'll leave that in the background. So the reason why we should give Generation Z or Z extra slack is because they didn't get work experience.
No.
Andrew,
I must say, I do have to feel for them. I do feel for them.
So forget the fact that we live in an era that has the most documented office activity of all time. As in, you can go on Instagram and there's literally tutorials on how to behave in the office. There's people taking selfies and all sorts of stuff, showing what the office environment is like.
Yeah.
There's endless podcasts on how to be professional. Andrew, there's even shows. You've got shows like Billions.
Yeah.
You've got West Wing.
The Office.
Oh yeah, you got The Office. Right? A satirical comedy about what not to do in the office.
Yeah.
Forget all of that. We must be empathetic because they did not have work experience.
I know.
Andrew, the first time I touched an office was at the age of 23 when I got told that my daughter the mother of my child was pregnant, and I scrambled to get an office job. My work experience was in my school.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to write a CV.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to land a job.
Yeah.
And even I knew how not to be a tosser.
Yeah.
In the office. And we must just accept, like...
No, the attitude is this is who I am, this is me, and you have to accept it, and you have to change in order to accept and work around me. Yeah. I mean, look at that face. I feel like punching that face for a start.
100%.
Yeah. And it's just this entitled attitude, and it's not all Gen Z,
No,
but
it's not.
It's people like this that give Gen Z
and
a
this
bad
is my
name.
point. This is not even. We got to stop talking about Gen Z. There's the tossers and the productive people. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And she's going to be, or this person is going to be, reminds me of the people that used to say, well, I haven't received training on that. I haven't received enough training. That was the excuse. And it's the same excuse. We don't have office experience. Come off it. When you go into someone's home,
why I have to do sexual harassment training every bloody year, even though I work from home. I mean, it's bloody obvious, at this point, don't even compliment someone on how they look.
No.
Mate, this is how that is, It gets to the point now where if it's man or woman, if I want to say to someone, hey, you look good, I go, oh, that look really suits you, right? And then I go, oh, by the way, I say that in a HR compliant way, and then I actually put the clause after it, to give the and then everyone goes ha 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 ha, and it's a joke, but it's a joke, no joke. If that makes, I always say in a HR compliant way, just to stress this is not sexual. But some people, a minority of people with this attitude, is the reason why I have to take sexual harassment training every bloody year.
Well, again, I don't know if I told you the story, but my wife, who also works in the same sort of industry as us, she was on a Zoom call and she'd had her hair done, right? And one of the guys noticed, oh, Paula, you've had your hair done. It looks nice. Yeah. And she went, oh, thank you. Thought nothing of it. She probably thought my husband didn't notice and went, the Wolly. But anyway, thought nothing of it. And then she got a call from HR 2 days later saying, basically, you've heard that, you had some inappropriate comments made, right? And, if you want to take it any further, we're here to help you. And she's like, what are you talking about? and the woman said that there was a comment made about your hair, and it was one of her colleagues that got offended on behalf of my wife and put in a complaint. And just flabbergasted me. That's the world we're living in.
Yeah, that is the world we live in, and it's giving all of these Wollies a platform. Yeah. It's the 2%. This is the minority rule. The minority of Wollies drive all of this nonsense.
I mean, what is there not to understand about the office? As you grow up, your mother and your father give you a way to behave when you go to somebody's house. Yeah, I used to go to one person's house, and my mum used to say to me, no matter what they say, they offer you food, you say no. You could be starving hungry, yeah, but you say no. We'll eat at home, right? Because that's not what we haven't been invited for food. We've just been invited round, right? And you don't slouch on their cushions, and you take your shoes off at the door, etc. And this is just common etiquette. Surely, as a person, when you go to the office, there's a way that you've been told to behave outside of your house, irrespective of where it is.
Andrew, we said it clearly, I think, 2 episodes ago. If it's not about revenue, if it's not about the business, just do the safest thing. Dress appropriately. Only attach yourself to business revenue activities and just copy as appropriately what the CEO does. Yeah. That's it.
Well, I mean, what did we do?
Your manager or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just common sense, and we're now living in a world where we may have to introduce another module into our onboarding around how to behave in an office.
Yeah.
Absolute madness. I mean, onboarding nowadays is already taking 2 weeks. We're at 60% of crap.
Absolute crap.
And for some careers like sales, what we're in, it's detrimental because that's 2 weeks of our life wasted when we're going to be asked about our revenue targets in a month.
Well, we want to know, what's our territory, what's the product like, what's our key selling things.
No, but we can't discuss that because we're spending a week doing this.
Doing this stuff.
It's mad. It's mad.
It's mad.
Yeah. So this is up there with my Wolly of the week. Like, honestly, it's towards Wolly of the week. Now I can't remember.
Just the face alone.
I'm telling you. Third video. I can't remember what this is about. Oh, hopefully it's not about wrestling. Hey, hold on. Actually, no, Andrew. This one's gonna be left to later because this loops into one of our main event thingies. So, all right. So yeah, that was Wolly of the week. However, today's episode, our main event, our main business, our main business segment has actually been driven by you, Andrew. Right. So this week you've had a bit of an infatuation with LinkedIn. So give us a sweet introduction on what's inspired you there.
So I mentioned about LinkedIn and what its purpose was and what it was sort of derived for, and I love LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn. I think it's a great tool to collaborate, to meet people virtually, and just build your brand. I think building your brand on LinkedIn is very, very important. However, there are people out there that are using LinkedIn for self-promotion. I do it as well, right?
Well, you use it to get recruited or to show off your work. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like you said, there's like almost there's an unwritten etiquette about how to do that in a way that's acceptable by society.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There are some people who just. I'm flummoxed. I'm flummoxed. I've picked this guy.
Okay. So I'm not sharing a screen yet on our podcast.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to share the screen. So this is why I decided to put this one at the front face, because there is actually a slight overlap between what Andrew's going to lead us into, which is LinkedIn, and Wolly of the Week. There is a slight possibility that the Wolly of the Week may live in what we're about to see. So run us through. What's this document that you did you?
So I put together a document.
Oh wow! About... You actually went out there and created a.
I listen. People better watch this week because I actually stayed up late and put these things together. Okay. Yeah, so basically, during my time on LinkedIn, I've been, looking. We deal with a lot of work with CISOs and bits and pieces and people like that, etc. And I've been looking at who I should connect with, who I should follow, etc. And certain profiles and things sort of stand out to me. Now, this particular gentleman, I have actually met him in person as well, and very much his LinkedIn profile reflects him as a person as well.
It's classic.
A complete Wolly of LinkedIn, whatever. And I just look at some of the things that the way they promote themselves, and I think, how do you find time to do your job?
Right. So run us through this one.
Yeah. So this guy is a CISO.
Okay.
Chief Information Security Officer.
Well, he's not
right?
just a CISO, he's also a CEO, Andrew. Please, don't undersell him.
Oh, well, this came recently. It never used to be. Right? This picture really cracks me up. So there's a photo of him which I've cut out, and it says, "We welcome Mr. So-and-so" on the main. Who's welcoming him? Who are the people? Is it LinkedIn that's welcomed him? Who's welcoming him?
Please tell me it's not his own company. Please.
Yeah. Right.
Has he welcomed himself?
He's welcoming himself, basically,
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah. So and then you look at the other photo where he's sitting there very provocatively with an Arab gentleman.
Who could be a sheikh or...
Well, it actually is somebody quite high up.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's managed to sit next to him and get a photo taken. I don't know, basically, and they're both looking very, ponderously, or he is anyway, right? But look at what this guy has done or is doing in his career. He's a group CEO, right? So he's running a company.
No, but it's a group of companies. Because if you
a group of companies,
it means a group
excuse
of
me,
companies.
Yeah, he's an innovator, right? And I love these little buzzwords.
Yeah.
Right, which mean nothing.
Yeah.
You're an innovator of what? What have you innovated? Yeah, right. He's a CISO, which was his main job, as far as I knew. He's a CISO to CEO. Now, what a friggin' hell is that? Do you know?
No, but we may have stumbled upon the future.
Right. He's an entrepreneur.
Yep.
He's he's practical customer centric. I have no idea what that means. What does that mean? Practical customer centric. Is it a title? Is it what he thinks about? Is it what he does? He's a cybersecurity leader, and he's got 31,000 followers.
That's the bit that got me, right? And I'll tell you why that got me, right, Andrew? Because it made me reflect, and I went, "Am I doing LinkedIn wrong?"
Yeah.
Because maybe that means every single time he goes up 100 or 1,000 followers, he has to update this or one. I mean, does he update it in real time? Like,
mate, how many CISOs do you know that will accept your LinkedIn connection request?
Well, many. Well, well, it depends.
But
actually, no, they won't. They'll get you
a lot of them will.
They'll get you to follow. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. He will. If I got my dog who's lying down there in LinkedIn, he would go boom. Yeah, accepted. Right. This guy accepts anybody. Right. I know that because of all the.
It's just the fact that he's gloating the number of followers.
Yeah. He's a professional influencer.
Which I think it's I mean, it's already been proved. He's got 31,000 followers.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Right. A board advisor, a business enabler, an innovator, a speaker, and an author. Well, God, when does he find time to do anything?
Yeah. When does he have time? When does he have time to actually update his profile? Is my question.
Well,
his profile alone sounds like a full-time job. As in, updating this profile and keeping it updated and
that's his full-time job. But the other thing is that I've got to let people know about as well is when you look at these things, MISA CISO awards, right? I mean, we don't know what MISA CISO awards is. Middle East something, and South Africa, I think, probably something along those lines, right? Now, he's got a CISO award. Now, as you know, I used to cover the Middle East a lot, right, in my sales career, right? Yeah. And I used to go to a lot of events. And at the end of every event, there'd be a CISO of the Year award.
Yep, which basically you get if you pay for the most expensive table at the event.
Boom!
Lovely.
Boom!
Yeah.
Every single time.
But pay for the most expensive. We could get CISO of the Year award if we wanted to. All we got to do is look at 20 grand for a table. And we're there. Where they're, and then they all take their picture of their award, and everyone goes, yeah. And let me, audience, just so that you know, right? The reason why Andrew is shining the light on this, right, and it's so silly, is because, first of all, cybersecurity is an unsung career, right? It's the equivalent of me saying, "Oh my God," me being at a dinner event and telling everyone just how secure my house is. No one cares, right? Yeah. And the second thing is, it's not like the Oscars where you can quantify whether someone is successful based on how many people have watched it or whatever. Literally, your job is to not have a cybersecurity incident. So what I want to know is, how can you be CISO of the year when you've got one job, which is not to get breached?
Yeah. And how do they know you haven't been breached?
Is it your customers that say, "Oh my God, you know what? I feel so secure when I use this platform." Like, it's just the stupidest thing ever.
It's the stupidest award. I've been to an event, right, that actually we didn't sponsor, but our partners sponsored.
Yeah.
And there was 7 CISO of the Year awards awarded. 7.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to get with these things, one, I find them irritating. I'm easily irritated. I'm an old grumpy git, right? 2 is that when you try to speak to these people in order to offer a solution or a product or talk about something related to security, cybersecurity, yeah, not interested. They're not interested.
They're too busy.
Yeah?
They're too busy.
Too busy.
But you know,
too busy.
Give them an award or an accolade, and they're on it like flies to poo.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you know, and if you scroll down, it goes on. It goes on.
I'm going to go to the one with pictures because we're 36 minutes in, right?
Yeah.
But so we'll streamline this. Walk us through this. Did Jose get a promotion? Is this Jose? Hold on. Oh, it's Jose again.
It is Jose. It is Jose. Actually, I think Jose's the one with the guitar, isn't he?
Huh? No, this is Jose, but except he's renamed himself Jacob. Run us through this.
So again, I'm going back to LinkedIn, professional website, you know, where people do business, you know, collaborate, learn things about organizations, etc. Right? And it's now being perfulated. Wow, it's being swamped, right, with stupid posts like this. Right? I mean, excited to announce that I closed the biggest sale of my life. He got married, right? Stick to Instagram, stick to Facebook, stick to whatever. It's not about. This is not what LinkedIn was about.
Nah,
right?
I don't want to see your baby. I don't want to see your baby. I don't. I get life achievements like, for example, I do like it when people post. For example, I posted one time when I finished a half marathon. And I was with my daughter, and I shared it. But I was wearing my company T-shirt. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's okay to put personal posts, but this is just useless.
This is it's gone far beyond that, mate. It's gone far beyond that.
A baby scan, Andrew.
This is the one that got me. A baby scan. It's just, you know, what are we doing here? What's going on? You know. Is this what we
off to have a Zoom call with my new starter? Oh, so that's why you declined my meeting.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why you declined it, and I just think there was a space where sanity prevailed, right? Where we didn't see, you know, the baby scans and the rings and look at my dinner that I've eaten and stuff. That's all on one platform. That's your personal life. This is supposed to be your business life. This is supposed to be Mensi Morera Limited.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And Andrew Kanikuru PLC, because I'm older than you, right? So this is what it's supposed to be, but we've come to things like this now. It gets worse, Mensi. It gets worse.
Man, I mean, if I was the company employing, I would literally be saying the following.
Do you hear me? I want my money back.
Yeah, I want my money back.
You touched upon a good point. Because most of the time, companies are paying for LinkedIn subscriptions.
Of course.
Yeah. So You know, I'm paying for a subscription for you to go on LinkedIn, to network, to collaborate, to build our brand and get some leads, get some sales, get some innovative ideas. I don't want to see rings and baby scans and stuff like that. And then comes the inspirational quotes now. Now we're getting inspirational quotes.
Well, Andrew, that pivots onto the next one. I think this might be the contender for Wolly of the week, right?
I've forgotten which ones they were now.
I'm going to skip to the last one.
This is the best one. This is my favourite. This is my favourite, and it's great because it's also McDonald's.
And it's the theme of McDonald's, which is brilliant. Run us through this one.
Well,
sometimes when I visit a store, I give a little bonus for crew being 100% in uniform.
Yeah.
This is an area supervisor at McDonald's. Basically, this is Billy's counterpart in a different state. Talk to me.
Yeah. Well, he's lucky because in this different state, there's obviously, you know, there's more of a diverse public. So he's managed to get people of colour on this one.
Yeah.
So he's not had to change it. This, I feel, is probably the stupidest post ever.
I just think
right?
it's so condescending.
What I would like to do is...
I'd rather James pat me on the head for doing the salt shaker thing right than do this.
But the thing is, mate, is that... So he's given them money to be in uniform. So is your uniform that bad that normally they don't wear it? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't think
and look at their faces. Zoom in on their faces. Unfortunately,
I mean, they're covered by COVID wear, right?
Yeah, but do they look?
I mean, we've got Coolio here. I'm only called him Coolio just because of the chains and everything. And you know, Coolio used to have the plaits. But anyway, I mean,
imagine this, right? This manager,
they look so happy in their job, don't they?
This manager's walked in, right, as part of his routine. He's walked in, he's seen that they've got their uniforms, and he's like, "Well done, guys!" Right? But it doesn't stop there. Let me give you $1 each, or $5 each, or $10. I don't know how much it is.
I think that's a Benjamin. You know.
What's a Benjamin?
100.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever he's giving them, right?
Wait, hold on. What dollar bill is that? I can't see.
I can't see.
Right. Anyway, it might be.
Yeah.
20.
So he's giving them some money, right? And then he's made them stop and pose for a photo. This devalues everything he did. Devalues everything he did because he did not give that money or that reward or that pat on the back for anything more than putting it on some sort of post. I mean, I think it's just terrible. Terrible.
It is, Andrew. Actually,
no,
it's not 20. I think it's a $100 bill.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't look like.
No, it wasn't. No.
It looked like a Benjamin $50 bill. Let's do 50.
No.
Nah.
Do $1 bill.
No, it can't be $1 bill. Andrew.
Just
don't do that.
Because it's a $1 bill. It's a $1 bill.
Serious? No.
Well, look back. Go back.
Andrew.
That's George Washington, right?
Oh my God! Hold on a second. Oh Lord!
It's $1
bill. It is a $1 bill. That's a $1 bill, Andrew.
He's given them $1. That's $1, mate. He's given them $1 each.
That is horrendous.
Yeah.
That is I think he wins the Wolly of the Year award. Not the year, sorry, the week award. That is crazy, Andrew.
I mean, I'm not going mad. That is definitely $1.
Wow.
No wonder they look happy.
My goodness me. That is terrible. Do you know what? I would report him to HR. I would report him to HR.
Horrendous. Horrendous.
So then that takes us to this, Andrew. You know, you've really walked us through it. LinkedIn has officially entered its cringe era, and it's working. So, run us through a little bit of this, like.
Well, I mean, it's just basically a little article that sort of cements what we've just already discussed. You know, I think this is exactly what's happening to LinkedIn. It's become it's changed it's lost its identity as a professional networking platform. It's moved into the cringe era, as they say.
Well, actually, you're right, because I mean, look, it says here, LinkedIn is a vibrant and trusted community where professionals can have great conversations and build their audience in a relevant professional context. Well, nothing professional about what we just saw, with direct access to brands, other professionals, and institutions. LinkedIn editor-chief Dan Roth wrote in an email to Fortune, "The difference is we are not about creation for the sake of entertainment." Well, it doesn't look that way, mate.
But I think. Well, I'm not sure, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think the evolution of the professional element to what it's becoming now has also got a lot to do with the Microsoft acquisition.
I mean, but the thing is, they may be killing this, because look, it says still no one can deny it's becoming more of like a social media app, but it's actually working out. LinkedIn says it's seen more than 8 million posts and comments. So yeah, basically they've pivoted away from saying, okay, let's go for quality engagement.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's be honest, there are less, is it white collar professionals? Because it's not really a blue collar professional platform. It's more kind of company to company, like you said, business to business. But they obviously don't really care about that anymore, because they're now just looking at the high level thing and just saying, look, the more users, the merrier, right?
Yeah.
And let's just look at comments on the site, and let's just look at engagement, and that's it. Yeah, basically, you're trying to become Instagram.
Yeah, and it's the advertising revenue.
Yeah. And look, it goes, they're rebranding its own breed of influencer and investing more in supporting creators. Mate, you know, I don't know, maybe this should be on LinkedIn then, if that's the case. But you know, I'm not sure if this is a good business move, man. I really don't. And I think they'll U-turn on it. I mean, let's read this, because this is the other thing as well, right? And this is you sent me this. It goes, is this how LinkedIn dies?
Yeah.
Very short article, so I can actually just read this out. When Cory Doctorow came out with his framework on how the internet platforms die, I was a bit skeptical. After all, relatively few of the platforms that have dominated the last 30 years on the internet, from Google to Facebook, have actually died. Dying maybe, but definitely not dead. But then I thought about what's going on with LinkedIn's new invite limits and their corresponding surge in premium subscriptions. And I realized that Cory nailed it. And you're right, you just said it. Companies are paying for this.
Yeah.
So when my company pays for LinkedIn Sales Nav and all these professional things, the idea is it should be easier for me to find relevant connections and relevant information that's going to bring me closer to the businesses I want to sell to.
Yeah.
Well, if that's now being drowned out by a load of Wollys, that premium no longer stands to show value, right? So let's go.
Well, I think also a lot of people are now looking at LinkedIn and saying, well, actually, you know what? We may go back to other solutions like Zoom Info and blah, 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 where you can get the data that you need.
You're right. It presents an opportunity, because now if Zoom or Zoom Info or any of these other things just recreate a LinkedIn, bolt that onto, basically Slack should be doing a social network.
Yeah.
And then just literally put rigorous guidelines on it, where it's just nothing. That's what will. It presents a business opportunity. Is all I'm saying.
Well, there's a German version of LinkedIn. Well, it's not a version of LinkedIn.
It's called Zing. It's called Zing.
Yeah. It's making a comeback, because a lot of the people are jumping back on there because they're fed up of seeing. Look at us. Yeah. What was it today? I saw. I never say no to my child when he wants to play, whether it's on grass, on the carpets, or whatever. Yeah, I always give time, because I know that time I'll never get back. And there's a photo with him playing, and I just like, what value am I getting out of this as a business person?
It's madness. It's madness.
But what makes me laugh as well is all of the people, the brown tonguers. Oh yeah, it's great. I completely agree with you. Blah 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 blah. And then that person then sees, oh, look at all of the comments I've got and the views I've got. I'm going to do more of this, and it's just a never-ending circle.
It reinforces the crap, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So look, LinkedIn has created so much value for job seekers, especially when you think about how hard it would have been to network in 1999. And that's why we all loved it in the first place.
Yeah.
For the most part, They let job seekers capture that value for free of charge in exchange for having their data exchanged by recruiters, marketers, and salespeople. So yeah, the revenue is primarily made by LinkedIn Recruiter, which is super duper expensive. It's got the highest privileges.
Very.
Yeah. Marketers, so you basically pay for the LinkedIn ads, so you can get automatic messages, put your content up there as sponsored ads. And salespeople, like LinkedIn Sales Nav is about £69 a month, roughly.
Yes, it's expensive.
It's expensive. It's good though. I don't know how I'd be able to do my job without it, to be fair, right? But yeah, so you'd think that would subsidize the whole value of it, to say, okay, well, we don't need crap. We don't need to be based on numbers of users and Instagram, like compete with the likes of Instagram and Facebook, because it's all about quality. Well, obviously not. But now that LinkedIn is part of the most valuable company in America and expected to still grow as fast as a startup, funny enough, you did mention the Microsoft acquisition. It basically has now no choice but to claw back all that value for themselves, as Corey notes. And of course, the easiest way to do that is to place a paywall around the most valuable part of the site, connections.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Here, which means that the majority of job seekers who can't pony up $40 a month, right? Wow. So even they're now thinking of charging just normal people $40 a month to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you've got it now. If you want you get a little advert.
Into LinkedIn Premium. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I get your point. Oh, yeah, because there's premium as well. Sorry, I mentioned the free kind of business to business type suites, but there's also LinkedIn Premium just for your normal person.
Well, I mean, it's $40 a month to see who's viewed your profile.
Which in turn will make LinkedIn less valuable to those recruiters, marketers, and which is ultimately how an amazing platform dies. What do you think? Well, we've said what we think. We completely agree.
I just thought it was. I thought it was interesting, from seeing the Wolly titles, and there's a load more, but we haven't got time to do them. And then the feedback on people from about LinkedIn. I just thought it was not something I grew up with, but certainly something my majority of my sales career, or the latter part of my sales career, when I got into software, it was an amazing platform, an amazing tool. And don't get me wrong, it still is. But now you've got to do a lot more filtering, a lot more, shutting out the rubbish. I've actually started unfollowing people. I've got this rule now, if there's 2 rubbish posts a week, unfollow.
It gets noisy, and that's the point. It was all meant to be about quality. Oh no, I think that's interesting.
I mean, there was one that I saw today, and I didn't send it to you last night because I only saw it today. And again, I thought, my good God, right? There's a guy going, "Oh, I'm super honoured to post my latest qualification, sales training by company, and he works for that company. So you're a salesperson. You started working at a company. They've trained you on their product, and they're giving you a certificate. And now you're putting that on as a certification, as an endorsement of something. Where's the value in that?
Yeah. Just shove it in your CV and shut the hell up.
Yeah, exactly.
Move on with your day. On with your day. Yeah, it's madness. But yeah, so right now we're gonna go into our business deep dive, or let's call it kind of. It's a bit of both business and workplace deep dive, right? Sure. So what you're seeing here is interesting. Well, I found this caught my attention. So there's been a lot of content going around as of late, talking about, because as we all know, the technology sector it's a bit of a bubble, right? Like you look at all the value. All the majority of I think 30% of the S&P 500 is dominated by the Magnificent Seven. We've spoken about this already in previous episodes, right? And it was all about create a software company, get a VC or a private equity company to, give you millions, and then that bumps up the value of that startup, if you will. But now VCs are now starting to look towards trades.
Yep.
And trades are now starting to be a very, very interesting portfolio company for companies, because they're seeing the most amount of growth. So here what we're looking at is an article by McKinsey and Company, and they're saying the most skilled labor market is facing record high pressure, right? Basically, there's competition for talent, and it's raising salaries by more than 20%. And I saw this really interesting image, right? So right now, when we think about annual net jobs in the US, the annual net jobs is 26,000. Right? So annual hiring in the US for critical skilled roles could be more than 20 times the projected annual increase in net new jobs from 2022 to 20. So they're saying that basically in roles like carpenters, construction laborers, electricians, glaziers, heating, industrial machinery, iron workers, material moving machine operators, plumbers, solar wind installers, welders, and wind turbine services, right? Right now it's 26,600 jobs. By 2032, that's going to grow to about 600,000 jobs in the US alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is worth honing into, and I say that because right now, a lot of people, we've gone through the tech hype, and I think in the 90s everyone wanted to be a lawyer, right? And then it became fashionable to be a banker. Then it became fashionable to be a software engineer, right? Or to work in the tech space. And funny enough, these areas of critical skilled jobs aren't that fashionable among my generation. I'm a millennial. My generation, I think Generation X pivoted away from this. Generation Z, the ones that struggle to be in the office,
heaven help them.
Apparently, they're not interested as well. And I just think, wow, there is a massive opportunity, because I'm going through that phase now, Andrew, where obviously my daughter's becoming 13, and we were having a conversation. She's 13 in January, and we were having a conversation. Well, we've had several conversations this year where she said, "Right, Dad, like, you've told me that education is important. Can you give me some advice on, you've always said that the earlier you understand what direction you're going in, the better, right? So what jobs should I look at?" And as I was walking, I said to her, "I'll be honest with you, Adri, there's so much changing in the world right now with things like AI and whatnot that I don't know what to advise you anymore, because I genuinely don't know what jobs are going to exist in 10 years time." But obviously I was thinking from an aspect of office work. You know what I'm trying to say? The prestigious, not the prestigious, but most people.
It's the prestigious.
Yeah, whatever, right? Or the white collar jobs, if they want to call them that, right? And I was just like, I just genuinely don't know. I thought maybe a law's going to exist, and legislation's going to exist. Even with AI, there's going to be differences in countries. I went maybe corporate law. I went politics. Politics is going to exist as well. Maybe you could be a civil servant, work in the political system. That's not going to change either. And we're talking about that. But it never occurred to me to say, actually, maybe you want to be looking at critical trade jobs.
Well, I've always had this mindset that if you could choose between two types of job, right? If you go and get that higher education, etc., then look at something where you charge for your time, right? Lawyer, corporate accounts, etc. Oh, even accounts are a type of law anyway. You have to learn the law, things like that. Engineers, software engineers, etc., right? But like you, the IT side of it and the software engineering side of it, I look at what AI is doing, and I'm thinking, you know what? Salespeople, not sure if they're going to be needed. Business development, not sure if they're going to be needed. Marketing, again, the same. Software development, etc. And then I look at the struggles that I've had over the last few years in finding a tradesman, yeah. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is what, because I thought 25 years ago, I'm going to retrain to be a plumber. Well, actually, a gas engineer.
I'll be honest with you. I was on the bog. You know me. I do the best thinking. My best thinking on the bog. Yeah. I was literally saying to myself that one of the skills I wanted to develop next year was to have one physical. Like I wanted to do a plumber's course or an electrician's course or a painter's course. So, like a labor. Not necessarily. Actually, to be honest, it's because I don't have any physical skills, Andrew.
No,
nothing. Honestly, I can't even nail a nail in the wall. I've focused so much on the soft skills, if you want to call them that, God forbid the internet's locked down for a year, I would be completely useless to society.
Yeah, same here.
And well, I know how to cook, but again, we've already spoken about the food industry and the challenges there. That there's so much automation happening there. And I was thinking of doing it, but sorry, Andrew, I interrupted your story.
And I was thinking along those lines, and I mean, funny enough, you bring this up. Just today, I had an electrician come round, a young guy. I say young, he was your age. He was, I think he was 35 years old, as he mentioned, and he said to me, "You know what? I didn't like school. I hated it. Yeah, and I wanted to get out as soon as possible. So I went and got myself into an electrical company as a what's his name, a trainee or whatever, and now I've got my own little business." And he says, I can do 10 small jobs a day and earn a really decent living, and I can refuse jobs as well. He goes, if I want to pick up my kids, I can refuse a job because I'm going to pick up my kids. And he was a very, very, savvy young guy. He said, a lot of his mates have got big houses where they've got stupid mortgages, and I'm not like that, and blah blah blah. And we had this very discussion about AI, and he uses ChatGPT to produce quotes because he thinks that he can't, he's not very good at writing out informal quotes and stuff like that. And it just got me thinking then that perhaps I should have gone down that route some time ago, or had it in my back pocket. Yeah, because the other advantage of it is that you can go anywhere in the world with that skill,
mate. And these courses are like 500, 600 pounds, a grand and a half, depending on, obviously, there's different levels to it. It's a bit like accountancy. It goes by modules, isn't it? It's like the more deep you want to go in it. But and the funny thing is, right? South Park, me, I always see them as they're like the new Simpsons, where they predict the future. I mean, they covered this in one of their episodes about a year ago. And I mean, watch this.
Medical advice? Hey, excuse me. You're a handyman, right? Can I get you to come look at my oven door? I can trade you services. I have geology skills. Could you come fix my door and I'll give you some geology?
Hey, why don't you guys get out of here? You're making the Home Depot look all cheaty.
He's got spinning rims on his handyman van, and I just I think the stats don't lie, Andrew. The stats don't lie, and obviously we try to bring value to our listeners, and we've all got kids. We're all going. Well, hopefully we'll make it to 2032. Well, that's less than 10 years away, isn't it, Andrew?
Eight years away.
8 years away, right? My daughter's going to be 20 by then.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be prosperous. You know what I'm trying to say? And maybe that old school mentality of work in an office. Well, it's done. It could be done. I don't know.
There was a great episode. Oh, what's that program? Who's the? There's a posh guy in America, and he's a psychologist. No, he's a radio presenter, and they're really posh with his brother. He lives with his dad in America. What's his? I can't remember what he's called. Fraser.
Yes.
I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah, Fraser. I love Fraser.
Yeah, so Fraser, he's sitting there one day and he needs a plumber.
Yeah.
Right? And the plumber comes along, and they're a bit stuck up and blah, blah, blah. Plumber comes along and he's going to the plumber, can you fix this? And the guy's, yeah, I'll fix it. I'll have to come back tomorrow. And he goes, can you make it in the morning? Because I've got to go to the afternoon to get my put my Mercedes in the shop. In the garage. This is what Fraser says. And the plumber goes, what model do you have? And he says to him, and the plumber goes, yeah, I used to have that one, but I've upgraded to the other one. the 500 SL. And it was a great point because there's him going, oh, you're just a plumber. But this plumber was earning a fortune just because he dressed, in his workwear.
Yeah.
And I would now, honestly, if anybody said to me, what do you recommend as a future career path? I would say learn a skill, even if it's a backup, even if it's a secondary. Learn a skill. The electrician guy this morning, he said to me, he still has to take a course every 3 years to update and make sure, but learn a skill.
Well, there's new guidelines. There's new guidelines. It's just like software. There's new guidelines on electricity and things need to be renewed, all that type of stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was very interesting. And then I came across this video. This is the video I almost accidentally shared earlier on.
Yeah.
Which is going to probably explain why that pay is likely to go up, right? And this is why VCs are acquiring these type of companies, right? Because the premium's going up and up and up, and this explains quite a lot of it, right? So hear this out.
I know a lot of people. I've got a property company. You go into school, and your kids aren't there yet. You go to school. How many kids want to be a plumber? How many people want to be a carpenter?
But did you want to be?
Yeah, because that was what parents did, and that's what you encourage. Apprenticeships were a massive
thing. You chose to go down a different route. Why did you?
Because I had an ability at something else. That's a slightly different.
But I think plumbers and bricklayers and electricians get paid, well.
I know a lot of people. I've got a property company. Most of the electricians, plumbers, tradesmen are of age mid to late 50s now.
Wow.
They cannot recruit younger people because younger people do not want to do that job.
Why not?
Because they don't want to be up at 7. They don't want to be working all those hours
that's
in the
insane.
day. They want
good jobs, though.
Yeah, but they want an easier life. We at the lower end of.
So that just brings me on to another thing that just when I was hearing that.
And it's true. So, by the way, my mate does construction.
Yeah.
He's up at 5.
Yeah.
He's up at 5:30. He's out of the door by about 6:45.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, how's that any different from what we do? That's what we get up. Like as in, getting up is not the issue. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know.
I don't think it's so much about. Yeah, I mean, yes, we have the ones that sort of roll onto their laptop at 9 a.m. and I'll be honest, I do that sometimes, and things like that. But give you an idea is that it's not just about. Don't think of like an electrician or a plumber as electrician and a plumber, right? I mean, I'll give you an idea. My sister's husband, my brother-in-law, I presume he's now. The guy was an electrician. He worked on sites and blah blah blah, major builds, etc. He's got himself a job in the last 3 years as an electrician looking after data centers.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. There you go. And
it was such a unique skill, mate. He got himself in trouble with a LinkedIn post, funny enough, right? And he was outsourced to a company, and this company complained, and they didn't want him back, etc. But his skill was in so much high demand that they wouldn't sack him. They just took him from that company to somewhere else.
And this is my point.
And he travels all over Europe, right? And he looks at data centers, and he makes sure. So when people sometimes think of an electrician, they think, oh, someone pops around your house and does your bulbs or whatever.
It's a massive industry, man.
Yeah.
Everything needs electricity. It's just, I mean, let's see if he says anything else interesting.
Yeah.
The working population, people do not want to do those hard yards.
Yeah, and it's also down to the lack of prestigiousness of the role.
That's exactly what it is.
It's silly.
We come from a similar background where our parents would say, "Oh, my son's going to be a doctor. My son's going to be a lawyer. My son's this. My son's that." And even when I was younger, and I used to, people used to say, like, "Oh, I'm a salesman."
Yeah.
And my dad used to say, "He's a sales manager."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, God forbid. Like, I mean, I used to think salesmen were just people that knocked on your doors trying to sell you sofas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no,
prestige has a lot to do with it. You're right.
Yeah,
the prestige has a lot to do with it.
Well, it's gonna change. It's gonna change, mate, because the VCs are already on it, and they'll make it.
Yeah.
They'll make it look sexy very soon. It just is what it is,
And this next article shows
I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to share my screen. Right. So we've just spoken about trades, and now we're going to go to a local company, right? So Andrew, tell us a bit about Pimblico Plumbers.
Right. Okay. So this takes me back many, many years. When I was a young whippersnapper and I got my first sales job, I was selling office supplies, photocopier paper and carpenter ribbons and stuff like that. And Pimblico Plumbers was one of my customers, right? And I just thought, I said, how much are they going to use? It's a plumber. What they need photocopy paper for, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that was really outstanding for me was that every one of their vans had a private registration. And it would be something to do with plumbing. So it would be like, I don't know, U-Bend 4 or Tap 9 or whatever. And it's interesting because this guy, again, he dropped out of school at the age of 15, sorry. Yeah. And worked in a basement somewhere and built up this business. But his brand was about service. Yeah. You could ring Pimblico Plumbers any time of the night and day, 365 days a week, and they would have someone there to fix your issue, right? You paid for it, right? And your choice was wait till the morning and risk being flooded, or pay the premium to have someone there, right?
You know what
and this guy is, I think he's from South London, no, North London, Camden or somewhere like that. And it's funny because Pimblico's in South London.
So according to this, oh yeah, that is funny actually, yeah. According to this, he sold it just over a year ago. Well, we'll check the. Okay.
Yeah, it was a year ago. I'm sure it was.
With the articles in January 2023, and it says it's a year ago, so it's 2 years ago now almost. But yeah, for 140 million. And he's called.
Could you pause there? Pause there. Right. This is a plumber who's just earned 140 million. Now, do you want prestige, or do you want the big bucks? And it just goes to show it doesn't have to be a software.
And not just that, he's called it the biggest mistake of his life to sell it.
Yeah.
So that means there's much more upside. But let's go into this. So Mullins, dubbed Britain's first millionaire plumber, sold his business to a US giant, Neighbourly, at the end of 2021. And he's gone and said, it was my lifetime's work. I put everything into this company, and I thought it would go on to become bigger and stronger business under the Americans, to go national and then into Europe. But when a company buys something, they don't have the passion a founder does. And Americans also have a different outlook. I feel bad for my staff, my customers. I feel like I let them down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
go on.
No, so that was the thing about it. So his vision was, and it's funny because you think of 140 million pounds, and it wasn't even outside London that he operated.
What do you mean? It was just London.
It was just UK, London.
What?
You didn't? Yeah, you didn't cover all over the place.
Oh, I thought it was a nationwide.
No,
so just
no.
in London.
Well, he said he wants to go national. Yeah. So basically, and then he wanted to take it across Europe and then maybe America. And you can imagine the American market, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. And it was right. He was right. He sold it to a company that didn't have the passion that he did.
Yeah.
When he started it, he was. I think he hired a basement in an estate agency in Pimblico.
Yeah.
Right, which is why it was. And basically, he'd work all hours. Yeah.
Right.
He had a bag full of tools and with little knowledge that he learned, and then off he went.
Right.
And he built it from there. And it was all, again, based around service. He would take the jobs that nobody else wanted. People that didn't want to go out at 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday, etc., etc. So that's how he built the business. And I think, he thought that the brand was going to grow even bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it obviously didn't get there.
That's interesting.
And the funny thing is that, the guy was a celebrity. He had celebrities knocking on his door, come and do my bathroom. I know, speaking to one of the guys that used to work for him, he was saying how, they did Sol Campbell's bathroom.
Wow.
And stuff like that. And they do a lot of celebrity stuff, their bathrooms and extensions. And the guy, he was a bit of a celebrity in his own right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing you didn't sell him.
Yeah.
Hair care. We'll get into that in a bit, but
I can't talk about hair care, unfortunately.
I guess I can't either today. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to kind of dive into a bit around that stuff that I was saying with the VCs getting involved. So basically, what they're saying is private equity loves skills trades lately, especially home services like heating, ventilation, air conditioning, plus plumbing and electrical companies, right? Private equity firms have been offering mum and pop shops 7- and 8-figure paydays. That wasn't always the case in previous generations. You don't need to go to Silicon Valley to have a successful career and entrepreneurial opportunities, said the partner at Huron Capital. Everybody and their uncle. Since 2022, private equity investors have bought almost 800 companies, right, in the plumbing and electrical. Many smaller deals aren't tracked, though they can also be worth millions. One company sold to private equity. It only had 18 employees, Andrew.
Wow.
And it and about 3 million revenue. Incredible, right?
Yeah. Well, just like I say, it goes to show.
And these go from 1 million minimum. So the ones that are tracked, they go from 1 million to 20 million.
Yeah. And it just goes to show that there is money in everything as long as you do it right.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a software engineer, a salesperson, a stockbroker, a banker, etc., etc. Yeah. And you can be you can be successcil. Like this chap here,
Right.
And I think
the
latest thing.
So go back to this guy, right? I mean, I kind of derailed it a little bit from Pimblico Plumbing to this, but the reason why I wanted to show the figures is I just wanted to back up our argument, right? Which is these. I can't, I tried to show evidence. The fact of the matter is, this is now the hot space for the VCs, and I think that's incredible. I think it's great. By the way, I think it's great. I think it's going to democratize some of that money.
For me, what I like about it, right, is that they're making something. Yeah, imagine a carpenter, he's making or fixing something, a plumber, etc. Let's face it, mate. What do you and I do? We sell air. Yeah.
Well, we're going to touch on that. We're selling subscriptions. We're selling. And we have been over focused on that over the last 10 years, and that's going to kind of be the next subject. But let's close this one. So what's happened to our guy here? So he's going to leave Britain.
Yeah.
And I think this is very, very, very interesting. So it's a bit of a bit of a curveball on our subject here. But basically, Britain has decided, our leadership here in Britain has decided to start tampering with the national insurance tax, and also really going heavy on taxing billionaires or millionaires, whatever it may be. And we're having a wave of millionaires leaving. Now, originally, I mean, the source you gave me was GB News, which is, a bit right wing. So I thought he was a bit of, he's going to be a bit racist or whatever. But actually, he was a Remainer, so he wanted Britain to stay in Brexit, right? And people have always branded Brexit people as anti-immigration. So we can't even blame him here, right? He's obviously a beneficiary of immigration, because
Absolutely.
A lot of plumbers are Polish. Well, actually, that sounds a bit, but you know what I'm trying to say. There's so many different cultures that really contribute towards
the European Union really helps people like this. Going back to that other article about people not wanting to be training, so they're coming from overseas.
Absolutely. So he hated Brexit, right? But he's actually going to leave. And the reason why this is important, Andrew, for work life and everything and business as a whole, is because America's going that direction right now. So we just voted in the Labour government. We said we weren't going to speak about politics, and we won't, right? We're not going to say it's wrong or right. But countries are now trying to figure out how to take money away from big corporations and, basically make up the deficit from taxing the rich. And it all seems like a good idea. And you know me, I'm almost an extreme capitalist, right? I don't think we should be doing any tampering with any of these tax things. I know, Andrew, you sit in a different space.
No, I just hate the phrase "they can afford to pay more." I hate
so
that
you're
phrase.
sitting with me here, right?
Yeah.
So this is the result of what's happened. So he's going to explain why he's leaving the UK.
You call it what you want, but I'm just not. I'm moving abroad to protect my assets for my family. I mean, they're going to increase inheritance tax, going to increase capital gains. It's just destroying Britain. It's just not practical no more to be here. And, I've paid, they say, over 100 mil into the system. And I'm afraid to say...
Imagine he's paid over 100 million pounds worth of tax. He sold the company for 140 million. He, like you said, he quit school, built the company from scratch,
from nothing,
all that type of stuff, and then you want to be charging it. I think they were trying to charge him £6 million for inheritance tax. So he's done all of this graft to build his company. He wants to leave something for his children. Oh yeah, but 1 million is still 1 million. That's enough. No, that's not what we work for. You're literally taking the motivation away from these people that have big dreams.
Yeah.
By saying, oh yeah, why would you even bother to carry on growing a company if that's the case? If you're going to just hit them on the bottom line, it's a balancing act here, And America's got this issue because Kamala Harris is she's proposing unrealized capital gains tax.
Yeah.
Which means you're still going to get taxed on the value of the company, even though you haven't sold it.
Yep.
You can, I don't think we need to go into the weeds and just imagine, right? I buy a car off you.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the world said, so I buy it off you for 20 grand because you've hit yourself in the head, right? And the car's really valued at 100,000. Well, I've just made 80 grand according to this theory, but I haven't sold it. I just bought it to drive it. Right? But you just made a killing. You just made 80 grand. Yeah, but I haven't sold it. I haven't got the money. Now, it doesn't matter. We value it at 100 grand. So I have to now fork out probably 20 grand, 40 grand if it's 40% unrealized tax, right? It's just going to cripple trade.
I go back to what I said earlier. It's about, if they can afford it, they should be able to pay. There's a lot of people saying that. And those people are not the people that, worked out of basements for all hours of the day and nights to build up a company, all only to... And don't forget, the guy has paid tax. He's paid tax in order to buy that house, right? And now he's going to have to pay tax again on that house.
It's mad. It's madness. Yeah. It's madness, and I just think it's quite sad. Like, for example, if they do raise national insurance tax, which I think they're looking at 39 from 20 to 39% or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that kills our employability.
Of course it does.
What you'll do is you'll just hire an English speaker based in Spain or based in France, and just get them to work remote into the UK.
It's just gonna. So we had, I think it was in the 90s or the 2000s, where we had this explosion of outsourcing. Yeah. And then it became insourcing. People got fed up, and it's just going to reverse that again. It's going to reverse that again.
And, so let's just watch them land.
Starmer is just driving away sort of investors, entrepreneurs, even just normal people that are on 100k or 150k. They also want to leave. It's the wrong way to go about it, and unfortunately, they're very anti-business.
So it's funny, he goes, normal people on 150. Now you can imagine, right, people on 15, 20k say, see, look how out of touch he is. He thinks normal people make 100 and 100. But the point is this, maybe it's a communication, but the point is this, right? It's our middle class. Middle class makes somewhere between 80 and 150k. You are basically crippling our middle class with these taxes. And again, I don't think, I know it sounds like we're going political, but it's just the figures. It's going to really, really change the dynamics of this country, and many other countries are considering the same thing. Because, to be honest, if I was a business, I just wouldn't understand why on earth I should employ in the UK. And the second element is, as someone who has got those skill sets to make 150k or whatever it may be, right? Why on earth would I stay in the UK? Why wouldn't I just move elsewhere? Pay them taxes. It's just going to create a massive hole in funding for everyone.
The thing is, Vinci, I think that people, yes, we're when you're earning 100, 150k, you're in a nice position, right? And this is what people think, that you're lucky you're earning this guy, because there are people that are, minimum wage, etc., right? But the way that people look at it is if it just comes to us, or it just comes to them, right? They don't look at you touched upon it earlier, getting up at 7, being online, staying till 9, 10 o'clock at night, preparing for the tomorrow morning,
having to manage your own budgets, having to fund your own stuff, not knowing where the next paycheck's going to come from.
And I don't want any tears or anything like that. I don't want nobody to feel sorry for these people. But then let's look at the 50% tax that they pay on that money, right? So, they end up with, they're not ending up with 100k, they're ending up with about 50k, right? Yeah. So it's not as if, you're rich, and it is middle class, and maybe it's even touching on the fringes of middle class.
What is about it is, right, the point, what shows that a country is successful is a good standard of living, and the way you measure that is how big the middle class is. So, for example, in Colombia, there's many cities in Colombia, because it's a developing nation, or some people may still call it a third country, a third world country. You've either got hyper rich, or poor. There is no middle class. So the signs of a thriving country is to have a middle class, because standard of living, right? The idea is you're meant to have a thriving middle class that can afford the £100 dinners, the £150 dinners, occasionally buy Gucci, occasionally buy the Ted Bakers, whatever. And that's what stimulates the economy, because they've got spending power. If you take that spending power away, well, what happens? Two things. Number one, well, now, if someone said to me, okay, Mense, let's just say the cap was at 150. I'll just say to the company, no, please, don't exceed this amount, because I don't want to go into that tax bracket.
Yeah, people do already.
And I would just stop. I would just say, yep, I'm going to stop progressing. Oh, but Mense, you're so smart. You could drive our company to the... No point. No point, because you're going to either have to jump me all the way to the top so that I become millionaire status and be able to say, okay, this is worth my while now. Yeah, I'm getting taxed 60 or whatever, how many percent, right? But I still get to keep £500,000 worth of money, which is significantly different from the 100k I make today. So it would have to be an aggressive jump. But all of those middle manager jobs that kind of go up in increments of 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand or whatever, well, why would you even try to progress? And this is the argument I had with the NHS, right? The mother of my child's a midwife, and they go in bands, right? So it goes band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And the point is this: she's now going she has considered going into another band, but the difference is only 5k or something like that, maybe 10 max. And what she actually gets to keep of it is a couple of grand a year, mate. And the responsibility jump is huge.
Yeah.
So it goes to the point where I was just like, well, should you bother? Like should we? Because you're basically working for free.
Yeah.
Extra hours, filling up other people's shifts, HR appraisals. If a baby dies on the ward, well, she's gonna have to lead the investigation. She's gonna have to go to a board. All this type of stuff. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? It just diminishes the value of those middle tier jobs, because you're getting taxed.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to destroy so much. I think it's going to destroy so much, and we got to be careful with our psyche. Like, we got to be careful the way we look at things. It's so easy to go. I mean, no system is perfect, but if you look at a multi-billionaire like Jeff Bezos, you go, oh, look at them. They've got 50 billion, 20 billion. That shouldn't be allowed. But the thing is, if you apply rules to that band, it's got to be rolled out.
Mm-hmm.
What do I prefer? Do I prefer a billionaire getting taxed a massive sum amount and not having it? Some people say billionaires shouldn't even exist. So would I rather delete the ability of having a billionaire and people just stop innovating? People just cap themselves because there's no point. Or would I rather give them the opportunity to do that and they carry on innovating and people continue trying to progress. It's like, do you like capitalism or do you not? I don't know. That's the way I see it, mate.
Yeah. I mean, again, there might be a conversation for another time, but I just think that at the moment it's the middle class that are being hit the most. The super rich have got money to employ God knows how many people and save what they can.
Point, right? We think we're doing something. Okay, this guy, let's just say he's got 140 million. Right, let's take 60 million off him. Well, he's still going to have 90 million. Whatever, But then if we apply that same rule, which we have to then apply to other people that make less, well, now a millionaire, someone with 1 million, 2 million now has 1 million.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not that's not right. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Why would you bother? Why would you bother to progress?
I go back to that phrase. Yeah, they can afford to, so they should pay more, right? But what I'm saying is that the cut-off point is unrealistic as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the cut-off point between somebody that's working or class or middle class, right, and the rich is unrealistic, because don't forget, the way of life costs a lot more, and both you and I, we don't have the Range Rovers and the massive houses and whatever. We earn a decent living, and we're comfortable in that respect, but that doesn't make us rich just because we earn a certain amount of money. There are mega rich people in the UK that are not paying what they should, because they can afford not to pay what they should, because they can hire the right people. But it's the people like us who are leaving the country, are, like you say, are going to make that whole. Because don't forget, it's off us that are getting the majority of their revenue. And if we leave, where's that revenue going to come from, and where's that money going to go to? Anyway, that's another topic. But the moral of this story is that
plumbing is a good business, and maybe we should consider it.
Well, it's don't think that you have to go into the traditional, let's say the traditional industries that are now traditional these days, which is software and things like that, to make your way in life, and don't look down on these things,
Absolutely.
Carpenters, electricians, bricklayers, whatever. They're all skilled, and yes, they may not be good at, writing code or whatever, but it's a skill, and it's a skill that has to be learned and honed and evolved, and you need them. It's as simple as that.
Obviously, it's obvious. Otherwise, the money wouldn't be there, and they wouldn't be required by VCs. Right. Next subject, Andrew. You decided to dust off. Well, actually, tell me why is Netflix and
again, I'm sitting there and I'm having one of those. I'm having one of those moments where you sort of think about your life and how it's changed, etc. And I was evaluating what I've achieved. And I said earlier, I'm quite lucky in the fact that I've achieved a lot of what I went out to achieve. But I was thinking of the future, and I was thinking, like, when I was younger and first starting out, you had assets. You bought things and you had assets. Whether they devalued or increased in value was irrelevant to me at the time, but you had assets. You had things like
a DVD collection.
A DVD, thank you. A DVD. Well, I was going to say a record collection.
Okay, well, a record collection, right? Like so. For example, I still got a CD tower in my. Never play them.
No,
but I like looking at them. Like go on. Sorry, Andrew. I'll keep
it. The tangible things that you could go. You know what? I remember working and buying that, and I remember working and buying it, and cars. You bought your car and you looked after it, and you serviced it sometimes yourself, where you tinkered a little bit, and you even pass it on to your kids if you looked after it that much, right? And you had your DVD collection, and you had your CDs. I had a comic book collection and things like that. and you bought something, and because it was there, it was of value to you. Maybe not to anybody else, but it was of value to you. And I think maybe not the current generation, well, yeah, the current generation, but certainly the future generation, they're going to have no assets.
They're not going to have that, yeah. And I mean, you've highlighted this Netflix and SaaS article. Explain to the audience what SaaS is.
So SaaS, it basically stands for software as a service. So again, going back to my old days when I bought my first computer, I used to buy my Microsoft Office on a disc, on a CD or 4 CDs and a box with a book that told you all of the instructions in multiple languages, etc.
He downloaded it off Napster and took the code.
Anyway, so you bought it, and then the next year you go, oh, actually, I don't need these upgrades. I'm not going to buy it again. I'll just stick to what
and you
I've
skip
got.
A couple of few years, a bit like the way we treat our iPhone nowadays. You might skip a couple of editions.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's a very good analogy. Right? So, but now everything is as a service, so you don't actually buy anything. Your software is as a service. You pay monthly. Your music is as a service. You subscribe. Your videos, even your TV subscription. If you look at Sky Box, you don't actually Sky Glass. Sorry, you don't actually have to buy a telly. You basically rent it. And I'm thinking, your car, you lease it, and I'm thinking, what have we got to look at and say that's mine? I own that. Do you see what I mean? So, and Netflix is basically that. It's a subscription service that you pay monthly, and this is how a lot of things are now sold. They're not sold; they're almost rented. And I'm thinking, have we gone back to the old days where you never bought a telly or a fridge and used to rent it?
So. Do you know why this was quite interesting? Again, quite random that you brought it up, right? But one thing that I've thought to myself is this. So there's 3 things that I'm thinking about whilst you're speaking. Number 1, having those, especially in the art space, having tangible art in your living room used to say something about you, right? So, for example, you'll be able to go into.
I'm admiring your art behind you now.
Oh, well, thank you. But I mean more like, for example, you'd go into a house and you'd kind of walk towards the library, be a bit nosy, right? You walk towards and you have a scan and it says something about you, right? Yeah. And then you might see.
Sorry, I never even touched the book collection.
Yeah. Well, but this is it. I mean, I've got a book collection. I've actually got a library, right? And I put my books
in the West. The library.
Yeah. Library, one shelf. But anyway, you get the point, right? I've got one of these cabinets with all my books lined up, and I've got my CDs in the CD rack, right? I've got I've still got some games as well. I like and there's this saying which is eye level is bi level, right? And what I've done with my books is I've got books that I only read once, and those I just give away because I like to read physical books, right? And so I buy physical books for books that I want to read, but not all of them are books I should keep. So I either give them to a charity shop if I only want to read them once, or I give them to someone who I think may benefit from reading it. And then the ones that I want to read again and again and again and again, I keep in the physical form because they say something about my personality. I'm reminded of them daily, that they're being ones that really change my mentality, and I use them again and again and again and again and again. And that's been taken away with Netflix.
Yeah.
Often we go on Netflix, we go on Disney, we have every single, we've got so many movies and whatever, right? You watch them once, you discard them, and that's the end of that.
Well, the thing is, I remember with my kids, we used to go and buy, Cinderella DVD.
Well, this is what exactly. So, like for my daughter, when she was born, I bought all of every movie that we saw in the cinema, we bought in DVD form. And now she has a physical tower of all the DVDs that we watched together. You want to know something interesting? Since I bought Disney Plus, she hasn't touched the DVDs. Do you want to go one level below that? Well, on top of that, sorry? Since we bought Disney Plus, she hasn't rewatched the movies that we watched together. Yeah. She just streams these shows, and she hasn't watched the Cinderella movie that I bought her. She hasn't watched Tangled ever again. I think that these subscriptions, they sound like a great idea because you're like, wow, I'm gonna have the whole Disney collection. Wow, I'm gonna get all these movies. You watch 1% of them, 1% of everything that's on it. You never watch it again. You're stripped of all the memories, and you own nothing.
Exactly. And for me, the biggest thing for me is I would say really what shocked me, and this is an old article, so forgive me for going back, but it was Apple Music. It was a celebrity. I can't remember which celebrity it was. A celebrity in America.
I know what you're going to say. Go on, say it.
Who wanted to give his music collection to his child, right? And they wouldn't allow it because apparently he didn't own it. But he bought it. He paid for it to be downloaded.
I think he bought the downloads from Amazon.
Yes.
Couldn't pass it on.
No.
Absolute waste of money. He would have been better off buying the physical CDs
Yeah.
and handing them to the child. And this is it. Like, it's own nothing. You accrue these subscriptions, and that's the other element, right? I've got Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I've got Netflix.
Yeah.
And I've got Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, Amazon Prime Video was given to me for free.
Yeah.
As part of my Prime membership. Guess what? It's not free. Turns out they just add. It bundles up. I thought it was free. I only discovered it wasn't free last year. However, I do watch quite a bit of, like, I've got my Only Fools and Horses series in there, all of that type of stuff. So I'm keeping that. My Disney Plus, again, Adriana, my child, she only watches maybe 4 or 5 shows. The rest of the content, not used.
No.
I'll be better off just buying the box set and binning it. I'm binning Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
And Netflix.
Forget. I haven't been able to find something to watch on Netflix for a long time.
So this is my thing. So you accrue all of these subscriptions, and what are we doing? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing? I mean, there's value in owning less plastic, because a lot of this is plastic. You know, plastic videos. You know, with the book situation, yes, it's a bit more environmentally friendly to have the Kindle. But then I think to myself, well, is it? Because Andrew, if you think about the Kindle, right? If I get a book and I throw it away, and it happens to fall in a landfill, that book is biodegraded in about 20 years.
Yeah.
If I get a Kindle, well, it's going to be outdated in 3 or 4 years. What happens to that Kindle?
Yeah. The cost of manufacturing
it doesn't rot. No, it doesn't rot.
No.
It's bad for the planet.
Yeah.
So all it is
Well, also the all of the metals and all of that to manufacture it. Yeah.
This is the point. So it's a bit of a farce, and this kind of leads to the next thing, right? Which is you got all these hidden costs because you subscribe to it, use it a couple of times, and then it's such a ball ache to cancel it.
Yeah. Mate, I can't remember who it was. Oh, Amazon. It was Amazon. There's me, right? I'm sitting there one day going, hang on, I've got Amazon Prime, but my wife's got Amazon Prime, and Sophie's got Amazon Prime. So we're paying for 3 lots of Amazon Prime, right? Thought, no, stop this, cancel it. I couldn't cancel Amazon Prime. I couldn't cancel it, mate.
You have to go on your laptop. I mean, trying to do it on your mobile, forget about it. I mean, signing up, easy. Oh. A toddler could do it.
Yeah.
But unsubscribing, mate, you have to go to the FAQs.
Yeah.
How do I unsubscribe? Read the documentation. Then there'll be one link. You go on it, click on it. Are you sure? Tell us why. Tell us what we could do better. Are you sure again? Are you sure this is the last hurrah? Okay, cancel it. Wait for the cancellation email. Mate.
But then, right, you order something on Amazon Prime, and it automatically re-enrolls you because you click on the free delivery by mistake.
Really?
Happened to me 4 times.
Wow.
4 times it happened to me.
Wow.
Right? And I've cancelled Prime, but I still want to buy it from Amazon.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
And because I've selected free next day delivery or something again, it automatically re-enrolled me on Amazon Prime. And I'm going, hang on a second, why do these people keep taking... I got my money back in the end, and they were very good, I'll be honest. But yeah, that's how difficult it was to cancel.
So finally, the world is making a little bit sense. The US has done a click to cancel rule to ban subscription traps. So So it says the US Federal Trade Commission has adopted the click to cancel rule, which aims to make it easier to people to end subscriptions. You could tell it's coming to recession, mate, if they're doing this. Jesus Christ. It will force companies to make subscription signups and cancellations equally straightforward. Businesses, including retailers, gyms, and that's another thing, gym subscriptions. Oh, mate. Getting rid of a gym, it's madness. Too often, businesses make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription. The FTC's rule will end these tricks and traps, saving Americans time and money. Nobody should be stuck paying for a service they no longer want.
Well, that's the thing, is that by the time you've actually figured out how to unsubscribe...
Your friends at Amazon have been... I mean, I'm an Amazon shareholder, so I feel like I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot here. But listen to this. It also said that Amazon's website designs push customers into agreeing to enroll in Prime. You just said that. And have subscriptions automatically renewed when making purchases. Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, you moaned. There's me thinking there's a little bit of exaggeration in what you say sometimes.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, this is it. It's in writing.
That's what I'm here for, Nancy.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. And, you know, it's... The other thing is, by the time you do cancel, right, is... You've paid for another month because it's taking you so long, or you've paid for another 2 months. And there's, you know, sometimes you think, oh, you know what, it's $3.99 or it's $4.99.
Now, hold your breath. Sorry.
No, and that's what they play on. They think, oh, you know what, if we make it really difficult...
For just $3.99, for just $5.99, for just $10.99, you get all of this. However, and this is where I think the banks are going really well, and maybe, you know what, this is probably a little layup for another episode, and we will touch on this because we will. Fintech banks. That's why the fintech banks are winning, because now they give you dashboards, and they'll say you spent £350 on takeaway. Like, these are the themes of what you spend on. £100 on digital services, and you go, what? £100 on just viewing?
Yeah.
You spent £150 on Uber trips.
Yeah.
You spent £70 on Subway last month. And you're like, what? On sandwiches?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, that's the thing, is up to now you have to use your own little spreadsheet, get your receipt out, put it in.
That's changing, mate. And I think that's where technology goes towards the right direction. That's where it really becomes good, you know. So thanks for
what's that about Adobe? What's that? Adobe has disputed the allegations. What have they done?
What's that? What are we talking about?
Hang on a second. So the FTC said Adobe had failed to clearly disclose its terms to customers, including a year-long length of subscriptions and charges that would be triggered for cancelling early.
Yeah, so I have an Adobe subscription. Absolutely right? You sign up to a monthly price. It says nothing about the fact that if you cancel it, there's going to be a charge. And then they just hit you with the overall price if you cancel it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Going back to SaaS, right? Yeah, is that
it's an accruing cost. That's what it's all about.
That's the thing. And you have nothing tangible at the end of the day to say, you know, this. I've bought this. It's no cheaper. And I bought this, and you look at Netflix, for example.
It is slightly convenient. It is slightly convenient because you can access it wherever you want. All of that type of stuff. You don't have to carry nothing with you, and that's the thing. But this is what I didn't understand, Andrew. If I buy a physical copy of an album, why don't I just get the MP3 version as part of it?
You used to be able to.
It used to be like that, right?
Yeah,
Now I have to buy the physical copy and the MP3 separately.
Well, it used to be the other way around. It used to be you get the MP3, you download it of an album, and they send you the thing. Somebody used to do that. I think Sky did it with videos for a little while, with films. If you bought a thing
I think that's the way it should be. I think that's the way it should be. If I buy a book, give me the Kindle version for free. Why do I have to buy two versions?
Yeah.
I've literally bought the physical one. The physical one's more expensive than the digital one. The digital one costs you nothing to run. Give me the digital one.
Right. So who is winning out of this, right? Let's go back to my Microsoft example. When I bought my Microsoft Office, whatever it was, right? And I got my CDs, and I got my book, and I got the nice little box, etc., right? And I had to go to PC World or somewhere to go and buy it, right? That came at a cost, right? And it was also a distributor in between, right? Now, the cost hasn't gone down, yeah? I've now got the SaaS model. The delivery model is zero cost, yeah? They've got no distributor in the middle, right? Their manufacturing cost of the packaging has disappeared. So who's winning on SaaS? It's not the consumer.
Well, it depends, Andrew, because then you've got to see it this way, right? How many times in the middle of the night did you need a product, a software thing, or you're in your house and you're bored off your tits and you're like, I've got nothing to watch, and you go, all right, I'll pay for this Netflix subscription, and you instantaneously have it. I have. Like, or I've needed software in the middle of the night. I know it sounds crazy, right? But I'm like, oh man, I want to design something. I want to make something. I don't want to wait till early in the morning to be able to go to the shop and
I get that.
To log into somewhere and thingy. What I don't get is, why don't you give me a physical copy with it?
But also, it should be cheaper. Also, it should be cheaper.
Well, apparently it is cheaper. That's the thing. But yeah, in the long run, it's not. You're absolutely right, and that's kind of my gripe with it. And ultimately, that's what companies are seeing, and I think we've already touched on that as well with AWS cloud services. Companies are now realizing, hold on a second, if I host all of my software on Amazon's cloud or Microsoft's cloud or Google's cloud, they've got me grabbed by the nuts.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're now just building their own data centers again, and we've gone full circle because everyone used to have their own data centers, and the cloud was all about being able to do it quicker, being able to auto scale, being able to grow at the pace that you wanted to, so you didn't have to buy all these physical servers. And now people are like, hold on a second, are we even growing that much? Can't we just predict how much we grow? And then now they've gone back to data centers, and it's incredible. It's just incredible how we go in cycles. And maybe that's what the theme of this is about. We started talking about, in the podcast, like everyone going for white collar jobs, and now blue collar jobs are the white collar jobs, right? So we're going in that circle. Yeah. And then this is now cyclical as well. We've gone from owning nothing. Sorry, we've gone from owning a load of stuff to owning nothing. And now, maybe, especially with this, people are going, hold on a second. I think I'd rather just own it, and rather than having a recurring cost that's perpetual.
Yeah. So I mean, that's always been my thing. Funny enough, on cars, right? I've always thought, you know what? I want to own that car, right? Because I don't know how long I'm going to keep it for. I might keep it for ever and ever, and I want to own it, and then I can sell it, I can part exchange it, I can give it to my daughters or whatever. And I think, you know, that I should have that same mentality and other stuff. I don't value things as much. I don't value that film that I've watched, right? Because, you know, I can watch it any time and blah, 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 or whatever, right? So I think, you know, again, like you said, we lose the value in things because they're so easily accessible as well.
Absolutely. Like that buzz around watching a new movie.
Talking of value, I saw an article somewhere about the value of Disney DVDs. And you'll be surprised that there are a few gems in there. Look it up.
Wow! Well, then, mate, I've got a whole tower of about 40.
Mate, I heard thousands being mentioned for certain ones.
All right. I'm definitely gonna go back to that, mate. All right. So next subject. Okay. So now, oh wow, we are definitely burning through time. The retirement.
The wife is giving me dirty looks because I haven't made dinner.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, we will wrap this up, right? So the retirement segment. We've gone from owning nothing, from a material perspective, to literally not even being able to have cash.
Yeah.
Even the money we work for is going to be invisible. So will the UK become a cashless society? So basically, we're gonna work for thin air.
Yeah. We're gonna sell thin air.
So we're gonna work for thin air to buy thin air.
Yeah. Exactly.
And exchange it in thin air.
Yes.
Wow. Air is going to be a very expensive
commodity very soon.
So the use of cash has fallen dramatically in recent years, as card and mobile payments has risen in popularity, only 14% of all payments in 2022 were using physical money, Andrew.
Yeah. Do you know what? The only time I can remember using physical money is when I went to the car wash.
Mate, and I actually use physical money, but you know me, this is called Old Hombre for a reason, because I am an old man in my head. I think, it's funny, you raise this, and they're saying, look, going cashless makes things safer, cash doesn't crash, so saying, look, the bad thing is everything's digital, and going cashless does make things safer. So we've got old people that are being scammed every day, right? You've got these call centers that call them, create fake scenarios. Poor lady gives away her bank details. They take half of her savings away. Well, the good thing is she can call the bank and go, fraud's just been done, and they return her money, and then they focus their efforts on tracking the cash to whoever's stolen it out of her account. So that's the positive thing. The problem with going cashless is, well, if you're an old person or you don't have access to cash, how on earth are you meant to operate in today's society?
So, for me, I think there is convenience of cashless, obviously, right? Yeah. Being able to pay on your phone, on your card. I've heard stories in one of the Scandinavian countries, I can't remember which one it is, they're thinking of putting a chip in people's hands, and then they just do that, At the moment, they're being used to get in and out of secure buildings. Yeah. But they're looking at doing that. Right, and I see the convenience of it and things like that. But I disagree with it being safer. I think, with things going digital, there's that risk of hacking, there's that risk of, being scammed. I mean, how easy is it to convince somebody to press a button on a computer to transfer money, as opposed to go down the bank, withdraw your cash, and go and give it to somebody? I don't think there's that much difference in it, I'll be honest. Right. But certainly from an old people's part, I mean, I look at my mum, right? My mum has struggles using a cash point machine. Yeah, she goes.
I struggle using cash point machines in certain countries.
Yeah.
I mean, try withdrawing cash in Colombia. You would think you're going through an interview, mate.
Really?
On the machine. Hello. What language you want? That's question one. Okay, I want Britain. Sorry,
English.
Okay. Second thing. Okay, would you like? Would you like cash? Receipt of cash? Thingy da da da. About 5 different options.
Is it a checking account? Is it a saving account?
Yeah. And then they'll ask you, is it a credit account or a current account? And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Surely you have this data in the card. Yeah. So that's the third question. Then on the fourth one, it starts telling me about a political movement, like, oh yeah, the government and right, and you're gonna be safer and all this. Then on the fifth one, it will go, right, so what currency do you want it in?
Yeah.
Then, mate, by the sixth one, and I'm done reading the screen, it's locked me out and it's returned the card.
Bloody hell. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I say, my mum struggles because she goes to the bank, goes to the window, and gets some money. And the nice thing is, I went with her last time I was there, and the lady said, "Oh, hello, Mrs. Kenny Kruger, how are you doing?" So she goes to the same lady, and I think, that's simple. Now imagine somebody tried to scam my mum, and she went to the bank and went to the same cashier and said, "Can I have, all of my money, please," or whatever. The woman would go, "Hang on a second, you sure? Because you only take out blah blah blah." So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's lots, even on the apps, there's like, "You sure you want to?" Sure.
I'm with you on this one, because you know what it makes me think, Andrew. Do you know what this is? Do you know what equivalent this is to me? And this is for our audience, right? So it doesn't sound like we're just being old people. Imagine if the next phase of this is we don't do sterling anymore. It all has to be crypto.
Yeah.
No, we don't do bank accounts anymore. You need to use your crypto wallet. If they did that to me when I'm 60 and I haven't invested in knowledge of crypto, I'm going to be like, wait, what do you mean my crypto wallet? And what do you mean the crypto key wallet? And Mate, if you did, for example, if I went to a hotel right now and they asked me to pay in crypto, I'll be screwed.
Yeah.
Because I know nothing about crypto.
I know nothing
and
about
that's
it.
what this is the equivalent of. That transition from, right, cash, the whole world runs on cash, to now aggressively going, nah, we don't accept cash. There's literally loads of CAFs and businesses now. They don't take cash. No. So you can't get
because it's so expensive for them to bank cash. Right. The only people winning out of this are the banks.
Right. Well, I mean, and you shared a video on this as well about how money circulates every single time the bank makes money off the transaction. So it turns £50 into a fiver by the time it's exchanged so many hands. But my thing is just that aggressive transition of ousting people, because like I know someone who works in a CAF, right? They only take card payments. And literally that person is encouraged to turn away customers that don't pay, that are paying with cash. And guess what? She has to turn away old people.
Yeah.
So do you know what that person does? Gives them free coffees.
Yeah.
But that's, the manager's fine with that. Like, you know, whatever, right? But what if the management structure's not up for that? You're basically, someone can't get their coffee. And you know, the way I see it is this: if you transfer your mind into, say, the shift between cashless, which I find easy to, you know, I can pay with my mobile now. I literally started doing that this year or last year. If you now said to me, right, men, say we're gonna sort away cash, we're gonna go for crypto coins, and it's all about you know, crypto wallets, I would be equally lost and ousted out of my own society.
Right. So the things I have against this, you know, I am an old fogey. I don't know what crypto is. I don't know what crypto wallet is. You know, it just baffles me. Whenever I try to learn about it, it baffles me. The thing that I look at about it is who's benefiting from this, right? So the banks are benefiting because it costs them a fortune to handle cash, right? The security, the thingy. The government is benefiting because you can't hide.
They could trace every penny.
Every penny, right? You can't hide. The marketing people, the big corporates that are using, you know, tracking what you spend on, seeing your spending habits, your travel, your health, what you eat, how you entertain, they know everything. So all of these organizations are benefiting from this, and the only benefit that we're getting, and I don't see it as a benefit, is the convenience.
Well, actually, Andrew, this is the same thing as the last thing. If I'm an old pensioner and I'm 65, and I can no longer get Frasier on DVD in the local shop, I have to get Netflix. If I don't have the skills to sign up to Netflix, that's it. I'm done. So again, it's all these barriers of entry. But actually, there's something else. As you were speaking, I saved this, Andrew, as in our Instagram thing, and I was going to say, you know, I was leaving it for the right moment. This is something else that will disappear. So remember we were talking in the last episode about buy from your local Turkish man, right? And the corner shop. But the undeniable proof that bossmen, so here in Hackney we call, you know, the local owner of a corner shop, we call him bossman, right?
Yeah.
So undeniable proof that the bossmen are the backbone of society.
Yeah.
So if you go to a franchise, or, you know, sorry, if you're a penny short, I'm going to have to cancel this entire order.
Yeah.
There's no leeway.
No.
What does the boss man say? No problem, brother. Just give me £18.50 next time.
Yeah.
Right? Pronounces my in the wrong way, my name in the wrong way, calls everyone brother because he sees all of his customers as family. Sorry, it's cold. It was cooked over an hour ago and it's just completely different. I forgot about it. You know, the point is this. Going back to this slide. No problem, brother. Just give me £8.50. How is that leeway ever going to exist
in
society?
It's not, because that's what the person on the till is going to have to do. Is like, sorry, you can't pay. You're a penny short, or it's been declined. It's been declined.
Computer says no.
Computer says no. So there's no. But that's what the other thing is that it's going to. Again, we're going back to the Sainsbury's local and the Marks. It's killing these people. It's killing these people.
Absolutely, Andrew. I'm not gonna lie. You've hit the nail on the head with this one, and I just think it's just a shame. It's just a shame the direction we're going in, and let's bring it.
Well, this video got me thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what you were talking about.
Why it is so important that people use cash. For example, I have in front of me, you're absolutely right, a good old £50 note.
This is how bad it is, Andrew, right? You know when you showed me this video?
Yeah.
I couldn't even recognize that was a £50 note. I don't even think I've seen a £50 note. Not the new ones, at least.
No. I was shocked at how plastic money is now. It's sort of plasticky feel.
I haven't seen a £50 note.
Yeah.
I pay you. You go to the hairdresser. You pay your £50. The hairdresser goes to the cafe, pays the coffee shop owner £50. The cafe owner goes to the restaurant, £50. The restaurant pays for the linen cleaning, £50. The value of the £50 remains £50. Yep. If, however, I pay you with a credit card straight away, I'm devaluing that £50 because I am paying 3% on average interest to a bank or a society that's giving me that card, which is the equivalent of £1.50.
Also, the retailer is paying a percentage in order to take that transaction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
so
again,
£50 is on that first transaction has lost value straight away.
Honestly, I was on a bug when I watched this, and I felt so screwed that it came out easier after watching this. I thought, wow, this is crazy, right?
Yeah. Then follow that through, and everywhere you go, the hairdresser, the coffee shop, the restaurant, if you're paying with a card, you're losing 1.5% or £1.50 every time. So after 30 transactions with cash, you've still got £50 in value. If you used your credit card, the value is now £5 because you've paid the bank £45 in fees.
Madness. It's about the way money goes round, right?
I think the guy, I mean, when I saw this, I thought, you know what, he hit the nail on the head. And again, the only people winning out of this is the banks.
And people are protesting about this, but it's obviously being silenced. I mean, recently that person I was telling you that works in a cafe, that cafe's actually on, it's in Marylebone, and they closed the whole of Oxford Circus specifically for this digital currency control, right? And see, you know,
Bob Marley, obviously, he's got lots to do with money.
If ever going to protest, nothing says we're protesting more than Bob Marley. But you know, the point.
Actually, and you can buy the video for 180 quid. What the hell's that?
Yeah, this is obviously whatever. But yeah, I just thought, I thought that was a very interesting subject, and yeah, man, I think, thank you for bringing it to the table, because honestly, it's a massive issue that we're all gonna, every generation is gonna experience this if we make these aggressive changes. You know, at least let the generation, leave the generations that are still. It's like, yes, you have to phase off old practices, but those practices should only be phased off when the last generation those practices thing. The fact that there's so many people still alive that only know cash is a good reason to just say, let's just pause on these aggressive changes. Right? Yeah. You know, if they do if they do upgrade society to bitcoins and all these different cryptocurrencies and blockchain, whatever, right? I should be allowed to live the last of my days paying in sterling or whatever, and then when my generation dies, then make the Bitcoin stuff the de facto standard. And I think that's super important when we think about retirement. And also, to be fair, I think what you've done is you've given us an incredible investment tip, which is any company, banks, buy some stocks in banks, because obviously they're never going to lose. They're never.
No, the future's for them. The future. I mean, all of this is, as I say, on the side of the banks and the government. Yeah, you know, let's all face it. Yeah, you know, when I look at where I live, a lot of the people that live around here are ex-cabbies.
Yeah.
And taking the dog for a walk the other day, and we just had a chit chat, and he was a typical cabbie moaning about, you know, life in general, about Uber and this, that, and the other. But his biggest thing that stopped him from being a cabbie was that they had to start taking credit cards. Yeah. He says, you know, I used to be able to keep my tips. I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do that. You know, and he's put a bit aside, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. You should pay your taxes and blah, 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 right? But it just made it unviable for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the things are tipped, you know, the scales are tipped on the other side, you know, because you weren't allowed to declare the expenses that you were incurring, but you had to declare the money that you were making, and you couldn't lie about it. You couldn't do anything about it because it's all there in black and white. I mean, let's look at it, Nancy. Right, so you get your salary, it goes straight into your bank, right? Then you get your debit card, and you go do your shopping, yeah, and then you know. You go and you buy something, you go out for a meal, blah, blah, blah. How often do you get, unless you go to the boss man, how often do you get handle paper money, right? How do we give kids pocket money now? How do we say to your child, you know what, you go wash the car, I'll give you a $5 or whatever it is?
You're absolutely right. You know, it's funny because my daughter's not allowed to take money into school. And and we need to deposit money into a wallet, a digital wallet, in the school. And I get it, it's good for like anti-bullying and all this type of stuff, but psychologically, how's she ever meant to learn how to manage a budget? Cashless makes it so easy to spend. And I mean, it's just interesting, Andrew. But Andrew, we are now coming to our final thoughts.
Thank God for that, because I've got to go to the toilet.
So lead us out of this episode, Andrew. What should we take away?
So, but I think the biggest takeaway for me out of today is that, you know, the future's not all digital, right? Yes, it's massive, but in the form of a career, I'm thinking, you know what? Have a think about something in the trade if you're thinking, and encourage it. Don't poo-poo it. It's not blue collar. It's not looking down. Don't poo-poo it. You know, you can make a very good living for yourself, and certainly look into that from that respect. I think SaaS has destroyed things that we used to earn and treasure and look back on. Almost like digital photographs. You imagine opening up your
mate. Well, funny enough, like I had to literally print off some photographs and put them in because I'm not looking at them anymore.
No. And it was an afternoon, wasn't it? It was an afternoon. You'd sit around, you open it, you'd get a cup of coffee or whatever with the wife or the children.
No one treasures a photo. No one treasures a photo anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think this SaaS thing is devalued some of that. But and oh God, I don't want to go cashless. I really don't, because I find it too easy to spend money already.
Absolutely. No, I get it. I mean, my final thought is this: from what I've heard in this whole podcast, life's about cycles. And no chapter is completely closed. If you would have said to me 20 years ago when I was in secondary school that plumbing companies were going to be acquired with 18 employees were going to be acquired for millions, I would have just said shut up.
That's stupid.
Movies used to show computer hackers as the ultimate smartest people, and now, you know, hacking, developing digital software, all that type of stuff, there's more developers than ever. And it's no longer, you know, anything fancy. And now, you know, and there was a time in the past when being a carpenter, all of that type of stuff was respected. It lost its respect, and now look, we're back to respecting.
Developers have become the personal trainer of the IT world.
Yeah, but exactly. But this is my point. Everything comes in cycles, right? And that's it. That's it really. You know, learn where the market's going. Don't look down on any trade. We all need each other. And time things wisely. Like, keep your ear to the ground. You can't just don't give yesterday's advice for tomorrow, right? Especially those of you who have kids, those of you who are looking to do career changes. You can aggressively change and change for the good, right? And don't just silo yourself into one mentality. Oh, I'm the marketing guy, so that's all I can do. You can radically change your trajectory in a few moves if you align to the right things, and that's it. That's all I've learned from this, to be fair.
Yeah, and be sensible on LinkedIn. Know what it's used for. We don't want to see.
You don't want to be the Wolly of the week. You don't want to end up on our episodes.
And if you're ever a guest on this show, it's scheduled for an hour. Go to the toilet because it will go on for longer.
Absolutely. So the last episode was 2 hours. Last episode was 2 hours and 3 minutes. We're now in 2 hours and 14 minutes. It's just getting longer. All right. So with that said, we'll leave you with our intro/outro music. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Take care.